One day, three kids are sitting playing together with a candle and they bet on who can blow out the candle with his hand, and Corcio tries to put it out but he's scared the fire will burn him and hesitates before putting it out, and suddenly Angelo puts it out with his hands easily and Corcio is amazed that Angelo could put it out without the fire burning him. And Corcio gets up to go home and Lucci tells him wait and eat with us first, and Lucci's mom gives Corcio food to take with him. Before he leaves and he thanks her, and Angelo goes out with Corcio to see him off. And then Angelo goes back and hides with his brother Lucci to surprise their dad when he comes, and their dad comes in looking for them, and a man named Vincent, friend of Testa their dad, knocks on the door and meets him and tells him the boss is dead. So he asks did the Orco family men kill him? He replies no I killed him and pulls out his gun pointing it at Testa's face. And at the same time the two kids, Lucci and Angelo get scared when they see the gun, but Angelo tries to calm Lucci so if any sound comes out they'll kill them, and Vincent tells Testa I killed him to protect the family, you don't understand anything. He asks Testa to hand over the account book instead of killing him, and Testa replies the account book is in the bank not here. But Vincent doesn't believe him and asks him to hand it over now, and Testa's wife comes in begging him to lower the gun and not kill him, but he hits her hard with the gun and she falls on the floor. And at the same moment Lucci runs to his mom to check on her, and Testa attacks Vincent with a knife and stabs him and knocks him down, but the men with Vincent shoot Testa with their guns, and Testa's wife begs them not to kill Lucci, but they refuse and tell her this kid will never forget us and better he dies, and they kill her and kill Lucci. Vincent orders his men one to search the upstairs floor and the other to check the rest of the house, and Angelo gets out of the house and runs fast, and one of Vincent's men chases him and shoots at him with the gun, but Angelo manages to escape and goes to Corcio's house, and he apologizes for coming at this time. But Corcio tells him don't worry they won't know you're here anyway, so you can sleep a little. And he tells him from now on you and I are brothers and we'll always stay like that. And Angelo wakes up the next day and goes to look at his house. He finds it all burned down and he leaves the city and goes away. After 7 years Angelo returns to the city, and at the same time Corcio is making juice in his apartment and selling it to the shops, and one of the shop owners comes to his apartment to taste the juice he makes to buy it and he really likes it, and he tells him this drink will achieve huge success but if you sell it to the Orco family then you'll sell it for triple the price. And Corcio replies I don't like to work with the Mafia, and the man is surprised and tells him my brother works with the Orco family, but Corcio kicks him out before he finishes talking, and before he leaves a huge man named Gatto comes in and tells him he refused to work with the Mafia, so Gatto asks will you sell us your drink or not, so Corcio refuses so Gatto hits him, and then goes and destroys all of Corcio's equipment in the kitchen. But suddenly Angelo comes in and hits Gatto on the head and he loses consciousness, and Angelo sits with Corcio after that and offers him his drink, and he tells him making juice is not something I love to do but I do it to save money so I can get into school, and he asks Angelo where have you been all these past years, and he replies my name is Bruno now that's my new name. And he asks won't coming back to town cause you trouble, but he ignores the question and asks him where is your mom, so he tells him she died last summer, so Angelo replies so that means you have no one left to fear for now that you're alone. And he asks don't you want us to make a lot of money together, let's sell this drink to the Mafia, so he replies I don't want to get involved with the Mafia, so he replies please Corcio this will change everything for us. Angelo suggests they sell their drink in big shops, and he tells him that will let us collect a lot of money, but maybe they won't even let us in. And after that they go to a shop to try to sell their drink, and there they find a man named Nero making a deal with Granico the shop owner to sell him his drink, and he tells him the drink he made is one of the best juices in the market now, I never tried anything better before. So Granico tells him but you don't drink juice, how did you know? So he replies don't you know you can tell a good drink just from its smell, so he replies I thought the Orco family was controlling this drink, and you look scared of the Orco family, and Angelo and Corcio walk in to offer their drink to Granico. At the same time one of the Orco family's men goes to the driver who stole a drink from their family, and asks him where did you get this drink from, but he ignores him and tells him I don't know what you're talking about. Are you from the Orco family? So he replies yes my name is Fango. And where did you get this drink from? So he replies I just delivered it here but don't know where it came from. So Gatto attacks the driver and beats him a lot to make him confess, and at the same time Angelo gives the drink to Granico to taste, but he throws it on the floor and grabs him to hit him, but one of the people there stops him and goes to hold the cup with the juice to taste it, and he really likes it and tells him I'll buy it from you, and Granico tastes it after and likes it and tells him I can buy it, and I'll buy it from you now. And he asks them how much and how much can you produce a week, and Fango enters while they are making the deal and tells them I'm Fango and I want to talk to someone named Nero Venetti, is he here? And Granico tells him calm down you can't cause trouble here because these are the place rules, so Fango mocks his words and tells him don't worry I'm careful about following the rules, because as you see I found my stolen drink in one of your trucks, so stop your trucks. And he asks them again where is Nero Venetti and calls Corcio, and asks him you're Nero, right? So he says no I'm not Nero, so he gets mad and asks them is there anyone here named Nero, and no one answers so he says looks like no one is named Nero so you must be him. So Angelo says I'm Nero and points the gun at his head, but Angelo attacks him and takes the weapon, and puts the knife on his neck and threatens him to let Corcio go or he'll kill him. Fango orders his partner Serventi to cut his neck and tells him he won't be able to hurt me anyway. But Angelo brings the knife closer to his neck and Corcio manages to escape from Serventi, and Fango escapes from Angelo and runs to get his gun and shoot at them, and they hide behind a bulletproof barrier and Granico runs away from the place, and they try to find any weapon to defend themselves. So Corcio makes a bottle with a flammable substance, and Fango keeps shooting at them with the gun. And at the same time Fano Nero's partner tells Nero, I heard this guy just joined the Orco family recently, so Fano tells him that means the Orco family won't leave us alone, and Corcio tells them once I throw this bottle at him get out of here fast. So Nero asks what are you throwing, so he replies just get out fast. And once Fango shoots the bottle it ignites and fire fills the place. And Nero gets out fast and finds the driver unconscious and suddenly the huge man comes out of the car but Fano hits him hard, and they take the car and drive away and on the road Angelo asks Corcio you made this bomb from wax, so he replies yes liquid wax when it mixes with water causes an explosion, and Nero tells them if you sell the drink you'll make a lot of money, and Fano tells Nero look the Vanity Theater will be great when it's finished, and Angelo asks Nero that man who was asking about you was there, so he replies yes and I'm that man. Fano goes with his partner Tronco to smuggle the drink, and he tells him hurry up so the police don't catch us. So Tronco replies can't we bribe them, so he replies the officer won't accept any price and besides he is the new head of the federal office, and I heard he took a lot of money from the Orco family. And Tronco is driving fast and Fano yells at him for his driving, and he replies the drink in the car makes it unbalanced, so he tells him but that's what earns us a lot of money, and Tronco tells him I'll save a lot of money to buy a car, so he tells him I'll give you one for free after you complete 100 drink deliveries, so he says really Fano, I'll commit to this promise, so he replies if we stay alive by then, and they stop to hide from a police car. They cover the car with tree branches and he tells Tronco to hide fast, and the policemen pass by and don't notice them, and Fano gets up and calls Tronco and tells him come out we're safe now, but suddenly Serventi attacks him with a knife but he pushes him and runs away, and he hides under the car and sees Tronco killed. And the rest of Serventi's men come to take the car with the drink and he tells them there's still one left I didn't kill finish him. The next day Fano is at the wedding party of Reno's sister and tells him we must get rid of the Orco family and go to war with them, and Angelo and Corcio arrive with drink in the trunk as a gift for the party, and Reno likes the drink and tells him this will please my father a lot, and Angelo refuses to take money from him and tells him this is a gift from us, and surely it's nothing compared to the other gifts you got, and he drinks his drink and tells him this is very delicious, and he introduces him to the groom and tells him he is the nephew of Don Galassia, the man who controls Chicago, and Fano tells him but our town ruled by the Venetti family we don't need Galassia's help in anything, and Angelo tells him but I heard the Orco family took some of your land here, and Barbiero assistant of Nero comes and tells him his father wants him in his office, and he introduces Barbiero to Angelo and Corcio and leaves to the office, and Corcio tells Angelo what are you thinking, we came here because we need money, and he tells him we must leave this place and go, but Angelo tells him it's a party, let's enjoy our time. And at the same time Nero goes to his father's office and asks him how is the theater now, so he replies everything is going fine, it's supposed to be ready after 3 months, and Nero's brother tells him Don Galassia decided he will attend the opening of this theater. We have 3 months and then the Venetti family and the Orco and Galassia families will all gather under one roof, and he tells him I know the Orco family started crossing limits lately, but at the same time we must obey Galassia, so he replies and we too must do that. So Nero's father says I can't endure this for long, but I must leave a strong family, and Nero's brother tells him that's why our sister married Ronaldo, nephew of Galassia, and Ronaldo is rich and we can trust him, nothing to worry us. But Nero interrupts and tells him they killed another one of our men, and the road where he was killed we controlled it 3 months ago, and a family like ours unable to protect its land surely has no future, and Nero offers his father the drink and leaves. At the same time Fano is very upset that Fio married Ronaldo, and Barbiero tells him you seem in a bad mood today, and he tells him apparently Ronaldo is coming to us now, and Ronaldo talks with Fano and tells him I am now officially a member of your family, and he asks where is Nero, so Barbiero replies Don Venetti summoned him to his office, and Ronaldo tells him will he stay locked in his room and not attend his own sister's wedding, and he replies we didn't tell anyone about this because it's secret, and he doesn't leave the house on doctor's orders. And Ronaldo tells him I will solve your problem with the Orco family, though I don't understand why you fight over this town. It has nothing except being a route for drink smuggling behind the police, and Fano gets angry and wants to attack him but Barbiero tries to calm him. And Angelo mocks Ronaldo's words and tells him you can't solve the problem and you're just saying nonsense. So he gets mad and attacks him to hit him but falls on the table, and he gets up to hit him again but Fano stops him and Fio comes to stop him, and Angelo offers their drink to Barbiero and he tastes it and likes it very much, so he asks them where do you make it, so Corcio replies in the kitchen of my apartment, so Barbiero is very surprised when he hears and asks to talk with them privately, and Fano gets to know Angelo and they sit together. Nero and the rest of his men sit to have dinner together and Fano prepares the food for them, and while they eat the driver can't eat because of the pain in his mouth and Fano takes his food, and Fano tells them this Angelo looks good, and Barbiero says and Corcio his friend the drink he makes is not bad, and Nero tells them I think this will save us the war with the Orco family. And Fano asks him, did you talk with the Don about us killing Fango? So he says no. Galacia wants us to make peace with the Orco family, and Fano gets angry and tells him I don't agree even if I go kill him myself. But Nero tells him we'll kill him but not us who will do the mission, and Fano goes to Angelo and offers him to do the mission and he agrees. And he asks him if I kill Fango then I can join your family, right? So he tells him I know I'm the one who offered you but this mission is very dangerous, and lately they killed one of our men. And he tells Angelo on Wednesday he'll be at Lacrima his lover and gives him the gun. So he asks what do I do about his lover? So he says kill her too, it's fine. And he asks have you killed before? So he says no. Fano leaves, and Corcio tells Angelo you're crazy, how can you agree to join them? So he replies it's fine, the whole world is crazy, and gives him a paper. Corcio opens it and he tells him this paper a man gave me saying he was my father's closest friend and he told me he would help me take revenge. And he tells him isn't it strange it has the names of everyone who killed the people I love? And on the other side Fano agrees with a man to delay Serventi until Angelo comes out. And Angelo goes and acts dizzy and sits in front of the place where Fango is, and Serventi gets out of the car and hits him to make him leave, and the man comes and talks to Serventi and tells him he has good drink he wants to show him in the car, and Angelo goes up to the apartment where Fango is and goes in to attack him, but he jumps fast from the bed and dodges the shot, and he threatens Angelo that he will kill the girl with him, and suddenly he pulls out a gun and shoots at Angelo, and they exchange fire until Fango jumps from the balcony and escapes and Angelo can't kill him, and at the same time Serventi comes up and points the gun at Angelo. But Fano hits him on the head and he loses consciousness, and he asks Angelo where is Fango, so he tells him he ran away and apologizes. So he replies it's fine, we know he's not an easy enemy, and Fano looks at Serventi's hand and finds the same knife that was with the man who killed Tronco, and they take Serventi and go to the cemetery, and they arrive at Tronco's grave and Serventi begs Fano not to kill him, but he doesn't care and pulls out the gun and kills him. And at the same moment Angelo shoots Fano with his gun and tells him he is the son of Testa whom they killed and kills him. Angelo goes back home and Corcio is waiting for him, and he asks him what did you do? So he replies I couldn't kill Fango but I finished Fano, and Nero was there watching me and accused me that I killed him, but I told him if I had killed him I would have already escaped out of town. And he told me to prove it, bring me Serventi's body, and Corcio asks him where is the body now, but he doesn't answer him. And Corcio goes to Chiarotto and asks him where were you yesterday, so he tells him I was with one of my friends, so he tells him you were near the apartment where Fango was with Angelo and Fano, right? So he gets shocked and says yes but I did nothing. So he tells him Angelo is looking for you. Nero ordered him to kill you, and he tells him that Fano of Venetti family was killed yesterday, and you're responsible for what happened, right? So he tells him you must be joking. You accused the wrong person, and he tells him I can't stay here, I must leave the town fast. So Corcio tells him I didn't tell Angelo your place. Tell me what happened. Maybe I can help you. So he tells him I didn't kill him. I really didn't do that. On the other side Don Orco orders his men to finish his private cook, because he didn't make the food right and it's the second time he does this, and he tells him this is the worst food I ever ate in my life. And he asks the people with him did any of you like the food? So they are scared to answer him and his men take the cook and leave, and Fango enters and tells him someone tried to kill me yesterday. And it wasn't a person I knew. But surely he works for the Venetti family. I'll blow up all their lands. And Don Orco replies shut up. Do you have any proof that they did this? So he tells him who else would do this? I spend most of my time taking their lands, and you sit here eating. And the Don tells him the Galacia family wants us to reconcile with the Venetti family, and I won't go to war because someone tried to kill you. So Fango leaves and tells him I'll handle this matter myself. Before he leaves he asks them has any one of you seen Serventi? So they tell him no one saw him, and one of those sitting tells him maybe someone of the Venetti family killed him. So he gets mad at him and puts the fork in his hands, and the Don says surely he has an enemy or two because of his way. And at the same time Chiarotto tells him yes I went to Fango's apartment with Angelo and Fano but all I did was offer a drink to Serventi, and I knew something bad happened but I couldn't resist my curiosity, and I took a taxi and followed them. And he asks him so they killed each other, so he tells him I'm sure Serventi was still alive when they got him out of the apartment. So Corcio tells him so that means you killed Fano and helped Serventi escape. So Angelo enters and threatens Chiarotto that if he doesn't talk he'll kill him. So he says he sold Serventi's body to Scozza, the new head of the federal office. And Angelo asks him he's the one who took the body, take me to him, and if I don't find it I'll kill you. At the same time Nero and his men go to Scozza's place, and Barbera tells them if this body matter is known we'll have many problems, and he asks Nero if we don't find the body what will you do? So he tells him I don't know, and on the other side Scozza tells Don Venetti and his family that Fano is dead. And he tells them they exchanged fire and killed each other. But the truth is that Fano kidnapped one of the Orco family and killed him. So Frate Nero's brother asks him where is Serventi's body? So he replies don't worry I keep it in a safe place. And one of them stands and tells him you think you'll bargain with Don Venetti? Ronaldo tells Don Venetti do we have another solution? If it's known a war will start between us and the Orco family and the Galacia family won't stay silent. So Scozza asks them so does this mean you'll buy it? So the Don replies I like things to go simply and I don't like this type of negotiations. And he tells him you must bring us the body here first. Then we'll see what we do. And on the other side Fango tells him we must ask them directly if Serventi is dead or not, and the man with him tells him Don Orco won't like this matter, and Fango sees Nero driving the car and follows him fast right away, and at the same time Angelo and Chiaroto open Scott's apartment where he hid the body, and they go in to take it. And on the other side Ronaldo suggests to them to kill Nero to get rid of this problem, so Ganzo replies, isn't it enough we lost Fano? And Ronaldo tells him strange that someone kidnaps one, and in the end he also gets killed, and the Don tries to calm Ganzo, and Freight tells them one of my brother's men was killed by the Orco family a while ago, and surely Fano killed Serventi for revenge, and I bet my brother knew something like this. And Ronaldo tells them in any case I don't think Don Galassia will let something like this pass, and he tells them if you don't kill him the Galassia family will intervene and take him themselves, and Freight tells them we'll make Nero escape and say we tried to kill him and he escaped. Nero's driver is surprised by Fango, and Gato hits him and knocks him to the ground, and they take him and bring him to the place where Nero is, and Angelo disguises himself as Serventi, and they bargain him to leave Serventi or they will kill his driver. But they agree that each will drop his weapon and deliver their men at the same time, and Fango orders Gato to throw his weapon first and he will throw his after him. And Fango stops them and tells him Serventi you look strange in your clothes but no problem, and he takes out a gun aiming it at Angelo's face to shoot him, but Angelo kicks him fast and dodges the bullet, and he pulls a knife trying to stab him, and Nero shoots his gun at Fango but he dodges and escapes, and Angelo jumps from the window before anyone sees him, and Fango tells Gato now we can declare war on the Venetti family. Nero goes to meet his brother Freight and tells him you must escape the city quickly, because if someone sees you it will be a big problem and we don't know how it will end. And Nero asks him is there no better solution, so he replies you won't die, is there better than this? And Barbero offers him to go with him, but Freight tells him it won't work, we can't trade the drink without you, so he tells him but we can't let him go alone. And Nero replies don't worry it will be a quiet trip to the countryside, so Angelo tells him what do you think, take me with you, especially after Fango saw me and remembered my face, and better I avoid him. So he asks him can you drive, so he tells him yes it's fine and Nero agrees, and Nero asks them did you choose a place for Fano's funeral, and they tell him yes it will be by the river. On the other side Scozza goes back to his house and finds the window open and Serventi's body stolen, and the Venetti family makes the funeral and Nero attends but he stands far, and after that they move on their way to the countryside, and at the same time a call comes to one of them telling him they are to finish them. They continue their way to the countryside and Nero asks Angelo to speed up a little and tells him he is hungry, and they stop at a place to eat and drink something, and they order pies and Nero likes them a lot and tells the girl working in the restaurant that the pies are very good, and she tells him though they're just normal pies but thank you, and he asks her if there's a place they can stay for cheap, so she replies in a small town called Coda near here, and he tells Angelo he's worried now that the money is almost finished, and Angelo suggests they can sleep in the car, and he tells him I can't sleep except lying on a bed, and the girl working suggests he can camp in a nearby place and that will be cheaper than anything, and Angelo gets up so they move and Nero pays the girl and leaves, and at the same time there's a huge man hired by people to finish Nero and Angelo, and this man meets a guy riding a horse cart, stops him, kills him and takes it. At the same time Nero and Angelo arrive at the village, and Nero tells Angelo I haven't camped in a long time, and you? So he ignores the question and replies I'll go get water, and they walk around the place and there are kids playing, so Nero asks him you know this game? He replies no. So he tells him it's a game called the Piñata, long time since I last played it, and a kid comes asking Angelo to take the candies under his feet, so he replies go ahead, and Nero goes to do a ball show for the kids, and the kids are very happy when they see him and they point at Angelo and ask him won't you do something for us? And he tells them no can't you see his face surely he has nothing to show, and Angelo goes close to Nero and with his hand trick he steals his wallet then his belt and makes a show for the kids and they all laugh and enjoy a lot, and Nero is surprised at his hand trick, and at the same time all the kids come close to Angelo and give him candies, and they go later to camp. But Nero finds their tent cut, and Angelo is sitting trying to copy the move Nero did, and he tells him start with one hand only at first because this move depends on raising your hand very high, and he tells him Fano was much better than him at this move. On the other side the huge man is searching for Nero to kill him, and Nero tells Angelo about his childhood with Fano and how they used to escape school and steal money from their father to go to the circus, but he would catch them fast and beat them very hard, and he tells him rarely anything new happened in our town, to the point we spent long time training together like you were doing just now, and later we started to show what we do to Fatty and Fio and they liked it a lot, and he asks, Angelo are you the only son of your father? So he replies yes, but I joined the street kids gang. So he tells him surely you learned hand trick because of that, and Angelo tells him at first my hand was shaking, and he asks him what was your first job? He tells him I went to threaten a man who owed money to our family. I was 14 years old then. I think my first job was related to Lagosha or something like that, and Angelo asks him you weren't alone right? So he replies no there were 3 with me, it was a very bad operation, and he asks him did you kill him? So he tells him he attacked us first then we killed him, and I shot at his son but he ran away without me even hitting him, and since then I do jobs like this. So he tells him and now you're running and broke. So he replies no I'm a camper making shows for kids, and Nero sleeps. After and Angelo sits thinking who was their fourth because he only knows 3. Next day comes and they leave the camp and go to another town and Angelo tells him now it's your turn to drive, but they meet a police officer who stops them and asks are you from this area? And Nero replies our fuel ran out, do you know where we can buy some? So he replies at the real estate shop in that direction and tell them you're from Officer Nick. And Angelo manages to steal the officer's wallet with his hand trick. And at the same time Nero talks to someone from his family and tells him he reached a town called Coda, and he tells him don't stay in one place long. And Nero tells him we just arrived here a while ago. So he tells him I know, but the Orko family sent someone after you to finish you. And what Ganzo found out is that he's a huge, very tall man. And Nero tells him no better description than that, and he tells him okay fine, I'll watch out if I see him. And the man tells him yeah, by the way, the situation between Fango and the Orko family is not great, and Nero replies that's normal, hard for anyone to control him. Nero enters a place to get a drink, but he doesn't have enough money to pay, so he decides to play with the people there and whoever loses will pay. And at the same time the officer stops the huge man to search him. But the huge man grabs him hard and asks him have you seen any new people in town? So he replies yes, and they're at the real estate shop. And at the same time Nero is playing with the people there and winning money and every time taking a new drink, and suddenly the huge man enters. Then Nero plays with him, but the huge man beats him and grabs him to hit him. And Angelo comes in and tells him let's go, our situation isn't good. The huge man goes out after them and destroys their car, and they get out running from the car fast. And while walking they find a farm and hide in it. And Nero takes out the food Angelo bought and doesn't like what he got, and Nero tells him prepare the rifles in case he attacks us anytime. So he replies I forgot them in the car. And Nero gets mad at him and tells him if you were to forget something it should have been the things you bought, not the rifles. And Nero takes the gun from his pocket, and at the same time the huge man finds their place, and jumps through the window and attacks where they're hiding, and he attacks Angelo and hits him and throws him away, and Nero shoots him with the gun and empties all bullets. But he's not affected by any of them, and he runs to attack him and keeps hitting him a lot. And Angelo tries from behind to stab him with the knife, but the huge man dodges it and attacks him again. But Nero quickly takes the knife and stabs him in the back and he falls to the ground. They quickly leave the farm to escape, but the farm owner stops them and points the rifle in their faces, and tells them stand where you are, nobody move. And he shoots the huge man many times until he falls to the ground dead. And he asks them who is this man? So they tell him we don't know, but you can keep his dog, it will help you for sure. Nero and Angelo sit to have breakfast in a place, and Nero tells him I don't know how you eat this food. And Barbiero calls him on the phone and tells him the family decided to make a truce with the Orko family. And he tells him that the Orko family decided to end dealing with Fango but failed to do that. And Nero tells him so because they can't face us and Fango at the same time they decided to make a truce. And Barbiero tells him that Fango gathered about 20 men and is sitting on the island, and seems allied with its owner Granico, and everything became under his control. So Nero tells him so that means I can return to town normally. So he tells him no. And he replies why nobody should object to something like that after we made the truce. And Barbiero tells him let's meet before you enter town first. And Nero tells him fine, let's meet in the secret place in 2 days. Nero and Angelo move on their way, and on the road Nero asks him do you want to join our family when we return? But he doesn't answer him. And they stop to rest on the way, and Angelo asks are we going to the city? So he tells him no, you'll know where we're going when we arrive. And they reach the place and Nero tells him this is my private factory, I make drink in it, and for me it's my shelter in trouble. And Angelo tells him looks like it works well and produces a lot. So he replies I earn a lot of money from it. And they meet Corcio and Barbiero, and Angelo asks Corcio what are you doing here? So he replies they asked my help in making drink, and he shows him the new drink they made, and Barbiero tells him that this drink brought us more money than what we imported from outside. But its recipe is a bit complicated so we couldn't produce much of it, and he tells them I heard you took down that huge man. Angelo sits drinking the drink Corcio made, and Corcio asks him when will you kill Nero? So he replies why ask, didn't you see it as useless? I need to get closer to Don Venetti first, so I must make him trust me, then I'll decide when to kill him. And Nero calls Angelo and tells him didn't you want to join the family? Come, I'll let you meet Don Venetti. And before they leave Barbiero warns Nero to watch out from Ronaldo. And on the other side Freight arrives at the mansion and asks did Tigre my brother arrive or not? So he replies not yet and tells him are you sure we can trust the Orko family? So he tells him sure, it wasn't easy but we made the truce already, how about we have a drink together to celebrate Nero's return? At the same time Don Orko is leaving his restaurant with many men around him despite the truce they made, and Nero returns to the mansion and asks the men about Tigre, and they tell him he's having a drink with Freight, and suddenly Nero feels something wrong after seeing new guards in the mansion, and Tigre signals him with his hand so he runs fast with the car. But the rest of the men shoot with guns at Tigre and he gets hit by a bullet. But Angelo goes down, puts him in the car, and they escape. And one of the guards helps them and closes the gate, and Volpe tells him Tigre is bleeding badly, we need to take him to a doctor. And he tells him we can't do that, they will watch us, and Angelo asks who is this? So he tells him this is Volpe. I ordered him to watch Ronaldo, and Volpe tells him that Freight is the one who did this, and Angelo asks him how did you know they wanted to kill you? So he replies Tigre raised his right hand and that's our signal, and without it I'd be dead now. On the other side Ganzo is angry about what Freight did and tells him explain to me what's happening. So he replies Orko asked us to kill Nero as a condition of the truce, and Nero was the one who tried to kill Fango from the start, and he had to bear the result of what he did. And his father asks him why didn't you tell me you'd do this? So he replies because you wouldn't have agreed to kill him. So he asks him so you don't mind killing your brother? So he tells him if I didn't do this, anyone from the Galassia family would kill him. and Ganzo tells him, are you sure of your words? So he replies, we always take orders from them, because they protect us in return. At the same time Barbiero enters the place where Nero and his men are hiding and asks them how is Tigre, so they tell him, I think the bleeding stopped and the bullet went through and out the other side. And Nero asks him, was my father aware of what happened to me today? So he tells him, I don't think so, but probably the huge man who wanted to kill you Ronaldo and Freight were the ones who sent him. And Angelo asks Corcio, where is the drink you made? So he tells him, in the car outside. And he goes out to bring it and Corcio follows him, and Angelo tells him, come with me, I'll escape from here. And he asks how, so Angelo gets on the boat and tells him, here we'll cross the river. But Volpe sees them before they escape, but they manage to go fast. They reach the island on the other side and a man stops them and asks, who are you? So Angelo replies, we want to sell our drink here. So he tells him, go back where you came from, we don't buy these cheap things. So he tells him, yes, Granico said that also at first. So they go in and meet Granico and give him a bottle as a gift and apologize for what they did last time. And Angelo asks him to meet Fango, but Granico refuses. But Lacrima tells them, come with me, and she takes them to Fango. And while going to meet him, Corcio meets Chiroto, and he tells them, I betrayed Scozza because of you, and I couldn't stay in the town. Since then I work here for free, and they enter to meet Fango. And he tells them, I heard the Orco and Venetti families are chasing Nero everywhere, and Angelo tells him, yes, true, and we want you to hide us here, we have an injured man. So Fango laughs at his words, and Angelo tells him, if you do that you won't lose anything. So he tells him, I won't lose anything, they killed Serventi my friend. And he tells him, so what will I gain if I hide you? And at the same time Volpe is very angry and tells Barbiero they betrayed us and will sell us to Fango. So he tells him, no, if they would sell us they'd sell us to the Orco or Venetti family. And Corcio enters and tells them he didn't betray you. And they ask him, where is Angelo? So he tells them he is hostage with Fango and sent you a message, bring Tigre and go to the island and he will negotiate with Fango. And he tells them Tigre will die if he stays here and the island is the only shelter. And Barbiero tells him, do you have any proof this is not a trap? So he tells him, I will be your hostage, and Volpe tells him, I'm supposed to trust you. And Nero tells him, we can trust Angelo but not Fango, he could betray and kill us all anytime. And Corcio tells him surely he had some conditions and tells them that Angelo agreed with him in return for this to bring Don Orco alive and let him do what he wants with him, and said as long as you want to take his family you can't do that alone nor even with the 20 men with you, and said it's Nero's idea. Nero is shocked and tells him, but I have no idea about this matter, and Barbiero tells him it doesn't matter if you know or not, if we convince him you have a plan then he won't attack us. And he gets close to Corcio and tells him angrily, I said before that I won't ally with him. So he tells him, Angelo said you're not the type to let your friend die and this is the only solution. Nero agrees and they take Tigre and go to the island to Fango, and Fango comes and tells him, I heard you will kill Don Orco for me. So he tells him, yes sure, that would please me. So he tells him, good, that saves me time. How will you kill him? Angelo told me you have a plan. So he tells him, no, I have no plan, I'm so hungry I can't even think. Please get me any food and something to drink. I haven't had a good meal in a long time. So he tells him, you don't seem to understand the situation you're in, and Fango puts his foot on the table and orders Nero to eat his shoe, and mocks him and tells him it's made from the best Italian cow leather. And Nero gets close to him but at the last moment pulls a knife and stabs his leg, but Fango dodges and it sticks in the table. And he orders his men to bring him food. On the other side Don Orco is sitting with Freight and Ronaldo and tells them, I heard Nero escaped from you, and Freight replies, yes true, but we're still searching and will kill him. And Ronaldo tells him, we want the relation between us to stay good always. But Nero is the one standing in our way. And he asks him, nobody told you anything about him. So he tells them, I heard he's living very well lately and producing his own drink. And Freight replies, yes indeed, he started making it without taking our opinion. So he tells him, I want a share of the profits. And Ronaldo tells him, we'll give you what you want once we catch Nero, then we'll have the factory and the recipe. Call us if you know anything new. This is a request from the Galassia family and they get up and leave. And Don Orco says to himself, I must find a solution to this. I lost my appetite from too much thinking. Next day comes and Nero tells them the bed was good. And Barbiero tells him we're not in a position to say our opinion, and Volpe enters and tells them Tigre will live, and Angelo tells them, but if we don't find a way to kill Don Orco we'll all be prey for Fango and he'll kill us. And Barbiero tells him, so you have no plan, and he tells them, I have a plan but we'll all die if Orco discovers us. Better only a few of us know the plan. So they ask, and what should we do? So he tells Volpe, go now, bring us something to eat. And Nero and Angelo go to the restaurant where Don Orco is. And Don's men ask him, what brings you here? So he tells them, I traveled a very long distance just to have dinner here, and there are some things I want to discuss with Don Orco. And Don's men search him first before he enters. And he asks them, what's the best meal here? So they tell him lasagna. They enter and meet the Don and he tells him, I didn't know you're brave enough to come to me yourself. Don't you know where you are? So he tells him in Ottimo Orco, the best restaurant in town. And they sit, he and Angelo eating, and the Don tells him, your brother is searching for you. Where were you hiding all this time? But he ignores and replies, this is the best lasagna I ever ate in my life. I should have joined the Orco family. And the Don laughs at his words, and tells him, I have many reasons to kill you and not one reason to let you live. So Nero tells him, you know I came here myself, so at least hear me. So he tells him, and what will you say? And say anything except begging me not to kill you. And he tells him, I know your father Vincent for 40 years, always our relation was good, and you ruined it stealing all our drink. So he tells him, and you also did the same, that's the nature of business. And he tells him, your dinner is finished now, drink some of the best drinks here. so I kill you after while you're comfortable. So he tells him this is made for 30 years and has a pure taste, but not the same quality we have now, and he pours out the drink in the glass, and pours him from the drink he makes. And he tells him taste it, this is just made 3 weeks ago, and the Don tastes it and likes it very much. And he tells him after having this drink you won't need to bribe the police again to smuggle anything from the borders, and he asks him what do you want in return. So he tells him give us a place to hide away from people and I'll give you the drink. And he goes to show him the factory which is inside a coal mine. And the Don mocks him and tells him where is this factory, so he replies, inside this dark hole, and sends one of his men with him to see the place. And the Don asks Angelo, weren't you the one who tried to kill Fango? They told me he escaped quickly from you. So he tells him yes true, he was terrified when he saw me, and he tells him you should have killed him then. And Angelo tells him why don't you use me, so he tells him I can't trust you. So he tells him his real name and that he is the son of Testa Lagosia, and tells him that Vincent is the one who killed his father. And the Don enters the factory with his men and tells Nero, so this is the place where you make it. So he tells him yes, and for the shelter you'll provide the whole town will be yours. So he asks him what's the recipe, so he tells him then I'll have no value if I tell you now. And Nero goes to bring them drink and tells them for our new partnership. And the Don hears something moving, so he and his men go to see what it is and shoot bullets everywhere. And Volpe comes out from behind the barrels and shoots them all, and Angelo shoots one of the Don's men. And Angelo points his gun at Nero's face and tells him I waited this moment for long, and shoots him with the gun. And the Don's men tell him should we kill Angelo? No one can trust him, he betrayed Nero at the last moment. So the Don hits him and tells him what do you know about him, and tells him this boy got back his father's right. And one of his men comes and tells him there was an exit behind and Volpe escaped, so he tells him what are you waiting for? Go after him. And Angelo tells him let's have a drink for this occasion. And they ask him after we killed Nero can we get the recipe? So he tells them don't worry, a friend of mine is the one who made the recipe. And suddenly the Don and the man with him get dizzy and lose consciousness. The Don wakes up and finds himself tied and put in front of Fango. And the Don asks him what do you want? So he tells him I want everything you have. And on the other side Angelo tells Corcio that day we had 3 men in the house, Vincent, Nero, Fano, but Nero told me they were 4 that day. And he tells him I thought Orco was the one who sent the letter because he's not an ally of Venetti, but I was wrong. I think my father's friend was the 4th man. So Corcio tells him and he wants to help you take your revenge because he feels guilty. And Nero comes and tells Angelo I started to believe the story. So he tells him I tried to play the role, and Nero tells him but I acted the victim well, right? So he tells him yes, you exaggerated a lot in acting. And at the same time Fango takes control of the Orco family and tells them from today it will be called the Fango family. Anyone has a problem, and also the restaurant's name will change and become Ottimo Fango. But I want to keep the dishes Orco used to serve. And he asks them what dish did Orco like, and one replies lasagna. So he tells them and that will be Fango's favorite dish, and orders them to bring lasagna. And his men eat and like it very much and tell him it needed Don Orco here to taste it. So he tells them that's impossible because you're eating what's left of him. And on the other side Nero and his men are having dinner, and Angelo tells them that Fango still has enemies and they are our enemies too. On the other side Fio tells Ronaldo bring me back my brother. So he tells her if Nero proves loyalty to the Galassia family then I'll let him live. But Freight is the coming Don. So she tells him but all I want is my family not to be always in trouble. And at the same time Fango tells Nero and Angelo you killed Orco for me and thanks to you I became the one controlling everything. And Lacrima tells them you know the cheese on this pizza comes from Italy specially, and Fango tells them time has come to wipe out the Venetti family. We're now one team, as long as we're alive of course. So Nero tells him you mean we're just tenants at your place, nothing more, as long as I'm renting from you. So he tells him in both cases I want you to go cause them some trouble. And Nero gets up to leave and Fango asks him won't you finish your drink? So he tells him no, I drank a lot today. And he tells him by the way you make good drink, right? And Lacrima tells him bring me some next time. Nero walks away and on the road tells Angelo Fango now wants to make us work for him. And Angelo tells him he also wants to steal the drink we produce. After that we'll have no value. So he asks him what do you advise me? So he tells him the only safe place for us now is with the Venetti family. The only problem is Freight and Ronaldo. And at the same time Ronaldo enters on Freight and asks him what's wrong. And he tells him you became very weak since you tried to kill Nero. I think time passed for you to regret. And he tells him you have many advantages over Nero. So he asks like what? So he tells him you're honest. And that's what I liked most in you. And then you're the only one worried about this family, right? So you must kill Nero. You're the only one who can save the family. And Ronaldo gives him a sedative to take and leaves. On the other side in a special Venetti family restaurant a man wins a bet and asks the worker to bring him a bottle of Nero's drink. But he replies if you want that drink it's not here, go to Fango. So he's surprised and tells him isn't this drink supposed to be served only by the Venetti family? And at the same time Nero enters to the man working and tells him what about buying drink from Fango for a temporary time? We won't cause you any trouble. And the man agrees and buys from him. But Ganzo enters them and tells them stop making trouble in our area, enough already. And Volpe tells him nobody did anything. And Ganzo hits him and tells him go back where you came from. And he asks Nero angrily what's going on with Fango. So he tells him surely you're not sitting with him for free. And he tells him come I want to talk alone. And he tells him return to the family again. This is just a problem between you and your brother and I can solve it for you. and he tells him I'm the one who taught you and your brother everything, so you must listen to me, and Nero tells him I can't listen to you this time. On the other side, Freight is reviewing the accounts and discovers profits dropped a lot, and Ganzo tells him Nero made a secret factory while we depended on smuggled goods, and Ronaldo tells him Nero doesn't want to leave us alone even after your talk with him, and if it stays like this Nero and Fango will be the cause of our trade collapse, and Freight tells him the matter became life or death between me and Nero. And Ganzo tells him can you say that before Vincent, and Ronaldo tells them let me make it clear Nero now is an enemy of the family, and Don Galacio wants Freight to run the family affairs. And at the same time Nero asks Angelo how's the situation with Fango, so he tells him seems he knows the factory's place, so Nero tells him no problem. Without the recipe the factory is useless, what we must worry about is Corcio. So he tells him don't worry he'll be fine as long as Barbiero is with him. Suddenly a car stops and Fio gets out and takes Nero to meet Freight, and she tells them why don't we go back like we were before, and Nero tells her I was the one who most wanted to keep the family, but Freight tells him you're wrong, all you think about is yourself only. And he tells him I never thought of anything but protecting the family, and Freight tells him angrily this family will be destroyed if the Galacia family declares war on us, and we'll have nothing to protect, and Nero tells him and the solution is letting the Galacia family control us, we have no choice but to fight them, so she tells him Fio married Ronaldo to avoid something like this, and Nero tells him you're just a toy Ronaldo controls, so he replies you always do what you want since we were kids and I don't, and he tells him you always belittle me but Ronaldo unlike you always encourages me. So he tells him the strong person doesn't need someone to encourage him. All you have to do is prove yourself. So Freight gets angry and tells him don't say that. Your selfishness is the reason for everything we're in now. If you had died our family would be better. And suddenly Fio gets up and slaps him and tells him enough. And asks Nero to talk with Ronaldo. And she tells him yes maybe the Galacia family is controlling the city, but maybe also our family can return to normal. And she tells them you two like this surely aren't brothers. What kind of family has brothers killing each other? There's no bigger disaster than this. And all I want is not to see my family killing each other, whatever the reason. And Nero gets up to walk with Angelo and tells him I'll fix things with Ronaldo. And Angelo tells him I felt you wanted to go back when you met. Don't let your feelings cause you trouble. And what's between you and Freight won't end except with one of you dying. So he tells him but he's still my brother. Family is more important than anything, and Angelo tells him I once had a brother like him long ago. I'll let you meet him soon. And Angelo tells Volpe Nero will die if things stay like this. So he asks him what do you mean by that? So he tells him Nero said he'll fix the issue with Ronaldo, but time's up for fixing anything. And he tells him you saved Nero before at the mansion right? I need your help to save him again. So he tells him I'm ready to do anything for Nero. And on the other side Ronaldo is in the car with Freight and tells him Nero called me and agreed to meet me next week at the castle. And after that the Venetti family will be under your control. And a car moves behind them as soon as they leave the mansion and Volpe comes out shooting at Ronaldo and he's hit in his arm. And Angelo tells him you didn't kill him. So he replies scared this will cause me big trouble with Nero. So Angelo pulls the gun and kills him and tells him I'll handle things with Nero, then crashes the car into a tree and leaves Volpe inside. And Freight and Ganzo arrive and find the car and Volpe inside. So Freight gets mad and says I must kill Nero, and Ganzo tells him calm down Nero would never do something like this, but Freight yells at him and tells him stop saying that. He was going to kill us, that means this won't end except with one of us dead. And Freight tells Ronaldo I can't live like this, so he tells him he's just trying to upset you. As long as Don Venetti is here he can't harm you, and Freight tells him let's leave the city and go to the Galacia family in Chicago. But Ronaldo gets angry at him and tells him don't be a coward, I'll finish this, and he gives him a sedative and tells him just rest, and Ronaldo goes out to Fio and tells her I want to talk with Nero. Isn't this what you wanted? So she asks him why you want to meet him now. So he tells her if things stay like this Nero will kill Freight, and the family will be destroyed by Galacia, and that will kill Nero too. Same for our child. But I can save them all. And he tells her you still haven't told anyone you're pregnant. Tell Nero both families must make peace for our child. And on the other side Fango enters to Nero and tells him you really deserve to be Don of the Venetti family. I'm ready to help you anyway. You must finish what you started. And Nero asks Angelo how many of our men died, and how many of theirs died. And one comes and tells Nero you have a call from Fio. And she tells him we must meet I have something to tell you. And Angelo goes instead of Nero to meet Fio. And he enters and gives her flowers Nero sent, and she asks him where's Nero. So he tells her he said he'll be late a bit, and Ronaldo asks him are you sure he's coming? So he replies sure. He said he'll be late an hour no more. And Ronaldo tells him I'm determined we talk this time. So he tells him and that's what Nero wants too and leaves. And Ronaldo pulls a gun from the drawer and tells Fio I'm keeping it just in case. And she asks him are you going to kill my brother? So he tells her Freight is the best for the Venetti family but Nero, and before he finishes Fio shoots him and kills him, and tells him I'm sorry this is the only way I can protect the family and Freight. And at the same time Nero goes to Freight and tells him how long will you keep locking yourself like this? It's over now. And Freight tells him I'm not going back to that house again. You always did what you wanted even if wrong, yet father never listened to anyone but you. All my life I envied you, because father always praised you. And Nero tells him father always loves you. So he yells I don't want anyone to love me. I want someone to encourage me. And Angelo comes close and takes his gun and says I'm tired of your talk. How many tried to step in and fix your problem? Why don't you listen to anyone? And he leaves the gun for Freight and walks away. and Freight tells himself I'm not afraid and will prove it and takes his gun and points it at Nero, but Nero quickly pulls his gun and kills him, and on the other side Fio is traveling and Angelo tells her Freight killed Ronaldo, and that's why Nero killed Freight, to prove his loyalty to the Galassia family. And a new federal officer comes to the city named Delphi and Scosa introduces him to the journalists and tells them he will keep peace in the city, and the journalists ask him why did you come to this city, so he tells them because of the problems caused by the Mafia. I came here to end this chaos, so they ask him what do you mean by Mafia, so he tells them first thing the Fango family where he became Don instead of Orko, and now he works with certain people in the city to expand his power. His base is the island, and that's the most chaotic place, and that's why I'll search it. And after comes the Venetti family, who ruled control over the city for many years. And their real Don now is Nero. And the drink they make is called Lollis. It started earning a lot, locally and internationally recently, so one of the journalists tells him but Nero has big popularity in the city despite all this, even more than the policemen, and Delphi tells him they're just thieves stealing people, and I'll expose everything about these people soon. The war between the two families for power is a huge threat to city security, and me and all the policemen will tighten on their drink production, and that will cut their income source. And Nero turns off the radio after hearing this and Barbiero tells him we should reduce production a bit this period, so he tells him no the buyers can't wait, and on the other side Gatto tells Fango seems this officer is stubborn, so he tells him easy we can handle him, and I think time came to finish the Venetti family, and one of the restaurant owners tells Delphi I support your decision against banning the drink. And Angelo and Corcio enter to Delphi and give him money, so he tells them, what's this? So they tell him you're new in the city, surely you need money, so he tells them keep your money to yourselves, and Angelo tells him your daughter is 4 years old right? Better watch your family and they leave, and he stops them and gives them the money back, and tells them tell Nero Venetti I'll kill him soon. And Corcio tells Angelo you already gathered info about him. You're acting like Mafia now. And Barbiero shows Nero the latest post saying Delphi shut many drink-making places, and tells him the number of places refusing to buy our drink is increasing each period. So he tells him fine shoot his house and finish him and Nero goes out and leaves them, and Angelo follows him and tells him the weather is nice today, how about a car ride? So he tells him sorry I decided never to ride a car you drive again. And Angelo tells him Fango will move soon, better we watch our actions this period. And Nero tells him don't be anyone but me, I must protect the family, will you help me? So he tells him of course. And on the other side Chirudo tells Corcio I never expected you join the Mafia, you always said you hate them, so he tells him I still hate them, so he tells him truth is Fango wants you with him, and I'll tell you a secret between us. The drink ban in the markets will end soon. Someone heard a big official talk about it. Then anyone can buy drink freely. And Fango wants to prepare high-quality drink for that day. And that's why he needs you with him. Having someone like you matters a lot. So he replies no I refuse. And at the same time Barbiero tells them Delphi started searching our factory, and Nero tells him capture his family, and Barbiero asks why not kill him, and Angelo tells him no then someone else will replace him and continue the investigation easily, and Nero says he's right, we need Delphi himself to cancel the investigation. And on the other side one of Delphi's assistants tells him I want vacation to go out with family and invites Delphi to join but he refuses, and Corcio tells Angelo I can't believe what you're doing, you really want to kill Delphi's family? Weren't you just after Venetti family revenge? So Angelo gets up and gives him money and tells him weren't you wanting to go to college? Take the money and stay out of my life. And Corcio throws the money in his face and angrily tells him you're the one dragged me into all this, and someone unknown calls Delphi and tells him cancel the investigation now, but he replies I won't surrender to your threats, and won't cancel anything, and his wife tells him you work too much you must rest a bit. And Delphi's phone rings again and as soon as he answers the car his wife and daughter were about to ride explodes, and Delphi runs out, shocked thinking they were inside, but they hadn't gotten in yet. And at the same time Angelo tells Nero we're done with the Delphi problem, and Nero says I'm surprised they summoned us for questioning, and a man comes to Venetti says I'm one of your fans and want to join your family and they're using him so someone else can kill. But Angelo notices someone wants to kill Nero and saves him last moment, and Barbiero says very few knew Nero would be there today, and tells them search for the traitor. And on the other side Corcio is at Fango and he tells him calm down Corcio I can't host you now, they'll know you betrayed them, and he tells him next time we'll kill Nero and then we'll finish Venetti family, and you can make drink with us and earn lots of money and live happy. And Ganzo comes to meet Nero but Angelo stops him and tells him he's busy can't meet now, and Ganzo gets angry at him but Barbiero tells him sorry can't meet, and Barbiero tells Corcio we can't come to the factory again. So he asks him did you find who tried to kill Nero? So he tells him not yet but everyone's suspected including me and you of course, and Fango asks Chirudo did Corcio bring new info? And at the same time the door knocks and Lacrima tells him someone wants to visit and it's Scosa, so he tells him you're still in the city. I thought they replaced you with another officer. So he tells him no they brought me back. And on the other side Chirudo is with Corcio in the car and Corcio asks him why Fango wants me now. So he tells him the city became dangerous lately, you want to go to Chicago right? The drink ban is about to end, and as long as we have the recipe it's fine. So he asks him what are you talking about, so he replies never mind, and Corshio meets Fango, and asks him what you want to talk about, so he tells him I'll make it short, your work with me is over, I don't need you anymore, and he tells him so you don't want my drink, so he gives him a drink and tells him drink this first and relax, and Corshio is shocked and tells him this is my drink, and Fango shows him the recipe and tells him Scoza took it when Delphi seized the drink, and this matter cost me a lot of money to get this recipe. And meaning I don't need you anymore. And Corshio falls to the ground and sees Scoza dead, but Fango says fine I'll let you go, and tells him instead of killing you I'll tell Nero you're the traitor. But suddenly Corshio attacks Fango, smashes the bottle on his head and kills him. And Corshio goes out to escape the city and goes to take the train. But he's surprised by Nero's men catching him, and Angelo goes next day to Nero and sees them tying Corshio and beating him, and one asks him what do you want from Don Nero? And who told you to do this? And Angelo asks Nero how did you confirm it's Corshio? And Gatto replies he leaked Nero's schedule to Fango then came to the island yesterday, and Barbiero tells him Gatto came to us with info about Corshio to prove loyalty to us, and Gatto tells them top officials want me to work with you and they'll crush us anyway now that Fango is dead. And Ganzo tells the man beating Corshio you're from Orco family right? So he replies yes one of them, so he tells him move you're not hitting him right, and he takes Corshio and beats him and tells him what did you want from Nero? And what were you planning with Fango? And asks him did you have any other partner? And Nero tells Angelo we have no other choice. Corshio must die, and Barbiero comes in and tells him I called Fango family officials and asked them to meet in the morning, and asks him to talk alone and Angelo leaves, and Tigre tells Angelo it's hard on you surely right? You know Corshio long time. So he asks him did he talk say anything, so he tells him no, looks like it will take long time. But if it stays Ganzo will kill him, and Angelo goes home angry and Chiruto comes, and asks him anything I can do, and Angelo asks him what made Corshio kill Fango, so he replies Fango betrayed Corshio after he took the recipe from Scoza, told him he doesn't want to work with him anymore. I never expected something like this surely, he hated Mafia since he was a kid, and he asks Angelo what would make him want to kill Nero so much to ally with Fango, and Angelo remembers then Corshio's words when he told him you dragged me into all this, and Angelo goes to Nero's mansion to free Corshio. But when he arrives before he gets him out he hears gunfire, and finds Ganzo coming out from where Corshio is wounded in his shoulder and killed the Orco man, and Corshio had escaped through the window, and Angelo enters and asks what happened, and Ganzo tells them suddenly the Orco man came in and raised the gun at him, and Barbiero asks him Corshio managed to escape, so he tells him yes I never trusted that man from the start, and Nero orders his men to close all city roads and not let him escape, and Nero's men spread everywhere on the street and search every passing car in all places so Corshio can't flee and ask about him in all restaurants, and Angelo goes to Corshio's house and finds it destroyed, and Barbiero tells Nero about Angelo he knows Corshio long time, plus before he hit Corshio, so Nero says that's because they were friends since they were kids, you suspect too many people Barbiero, we must find Corshio first. Then we'll see this matter, and Angelo is on the phone asking did you find him, but they reply no not yet, and the phone rings again and he answers saying you Corshio, so he tells him I'm sorry, they'll kill me if you didn't kill Nero, so he asks him where are you, so he replies tomorrow I'll call you again same time, if Nero isn't dead then they'll kill me, and Angelo asks him who's with you, and before he answers the call ends, and Angelo sits alone and remembers Nero's words when he said his first mission was related to Lagusa and he had 3 others with him on the job, and Angelo goes to Nero next day and asks him found Corshio, so he replies not yet, but important people will come today to discuss family future matters, and since Fango died, you must attend. And Nero goes to check on his uncle and asks him how are you, so he replies hurts a lot, but not a serious wound and asks them any trace of Corshio, and Barbiero replies still can't find him but it's just a matter of time, and Nero, Barbiero, and Angelo go meet Don Vincent, and Nero tells him I want Barbiero to be the executive head of the family from today, and introduces him to Angelo and tells him he just joined us, so he tells him is this the drink man, so he replies yes he brought it to us, and he's very brave, and Vincent tells him I want you to guard Nero. So he replies I'll do that surely, and he tells Nero after all I did Freight died and Fio left, but I don't blame you for any of that, all that happened was meant to protect the family, and I thought when Ronaldo became part of our family that way I'd protect the family, but in the end it made big problems with Freight, and Ronaldo was very strange, and I was wrong in all this, but I tried to protect my family but my thinking was wrong in the end. And if Freight hadn't died the Galassia family wouldn't stop hunting us. What you did was right, and from today you take my place. And Barbiero tells them the Fango family talked with ours and from today we return to the island again and it will be part of our trade network, and we'll work on more production. Soon we'll sell Lola's drink in Chicago, and Ganzo tells him Galassia won't allow us something like that. Nero tells him fine we'll negotiate, and that's why I want to send this drink to Don Galassia before we meet him at the theater opening. And he asks Angelo to go on his behalf, but Barbiero says let me do this mission, but Nero says no let Angelo go, we need to focus focus on opening party preparations, and he asks Angelo you can handle it, so he replies yes, and he tells his father training will start at the theater soon, everything going well, and at the same time Tigray is happy Nero became Don, and Angelo asks Nero who was the man standing next to your father, so he tells him who, you mean Toro, so he tells him yes, never saw him talk before, so he tells him yes I heard he got injured in the war in Europe, after that he worked with us, and he tells him so he's one of the old fighters, so he tells him he got out of prison 2 years ago, so he asks how long was he there, so he replies about 5 years, and he asks was your first mission with him, so he tells him no he was supposed to but got jailed before, and he tells him by the way Uncle Ganzo likes you a lot, he insisted I take you to my father, and I was surprised because I thought he'd oppose this but opposite happened, and Angelo gets up to leave, but before he leaves Nero tells him 7 years ago the day my father took me on my first mission, that kid wasn't the only one who escaped, I couldn't stop anyone, I was scared to shoot, terrified of my father then, and to make him trust me I started doing more missions, killed many people, even killed my brother at the end, and Angelo replies but you can kill him now right, the kid you couldn't kill 7 years ago. And Angelo goes after to Ganzo and says you were the one who sent the letter, so he tells him right eye. And next day Angelo moves to board the ship heading to Chicago, and Angelo looks and sees Tigray standing near him, so he tells him each of us has a mission to execute, and Tigray looks at his hand and tells him that's Lola's drink, you'll make a lot of money if you sell it in Chicago, and Corcio was a good boy, surely Fango just used him. But still we must make him an example for anyone thinking to betray us, and travel time comes and Angelo goes to board the ship and there he meets Corcio, and Barbiero asks Tigray Corcio didn't show, so he tells him no Angelo moved to Chicago alone, and Nero tells him I told you more than once he isn't involved in the matter, and before Angelo travels he goes to Ganzo and asks him why did you send me that letter, so he tells him Vincent stayed worried because of Testa's son who escaped, and told me to find you anyway, but don't worry I told him you're dead, and honestly you performed better than I expected, true you made many mistakes, but it was a good choice killing Fano. And he asks him why do you want to destroy the Venetti family, so he tells him because I want the drink and the whole city to be mine alone, and that's every man's dream, and you killed Nero right, so he replies I can kill Nero anytime I want. But what's not easy is killing Vincent, and I'll need you to help me kill him, and surely you need that, and he tells him let me take Corcio and I'll return after I put him somewhere safe. So he tells him and if I refuse, so he replies I have a deal with someone leaving a letter if I die to send it to Nero, and your name is in the letter, so he gives him Corcio and tells him most important, now find a safe place to keep him. And Angelo returns to the house he was living in, and the landlady asks him where were you all this time, and she asks him to pay the rent, and he gives her Corcio's bigger amount than she asked, and she tells him but that's too much, so he tells her keep it for the coming months, and Corcio goes inside and tells him this is very simple and sits and says I'll sleep here tonight, and Angelo tells him I was living here doing nothing until that letter came, and they wake next day and drink coffee together and Corcio likes it very much, and Corcio tells him I need to shop to buy some things, and since I'm here, why not take me to places you love, and they go out shopping and buy the things they need, and return home and Corcio cooks and they eat together and then sleep, and they go out next day walk a bit and Corcio tells him you'll go back to Lolis again right, so he tells him yes but I'll go Chicago first, and he asks will you return here after that right, so he tells him yes I'll return and says goodbye and leaves, and on the other side Vincent asks Nero how's the theater, so he tells him everything going fine and the music band is practicing there, and he tells him our situation became much better but if we settle things between us and Galacia it will be far better, and he tells him as long as we treat them with respect they won't trouble us, and Nero tells him they'll keep stealing our money until they get stronger just that, and Vincent replies I understand but if they want to destroy us they can do that in 1 month, so he tells him don't worry I'm not stupid to do anything harmful to us, and whenever we're ahead we'll be better than them, and he tells him don't worry I'll protect the family no matter what, and same time Tigray tells Nero we can't find Corcio anywhere, and Barbiero tells him not only Corcio worries me but also Angelo, so he tells him but he called us from Chicago you forgot, and said the deal going well, and Nero tells him the Galacia family confirmed that, and Barbiero says but he left a week ago if he went Chicago direct his trip would take 1 day only, and Tigray tells him what's wrong if he spends few extra days enjoying, and while they talk Angelo enters and asks what are you talking about, and Nero tells him looks like the job went well. So he tells him yes and we almost achieved what we wanted, and Barbiero tells him it took longer than needed, so he tells him there were many things I wanted to try in Chicago, and Tigray asks him how's things there, so he tells him nothing, drink quality they're very bad, but they hide that by serving it in cocktails, but when served alone it's very bad, and he tells them no, drink there can beat our product, and Don Galacia himself said that, and Nero tells him tell us some stories about your trip, and Ganzo sits with him later and tells him I'm very happy you're back, don't know what I'd do if you ran and didn't return. So he tells him no I didn't take revenge yet to run, and he tells him theater opening will be in 3 days, and Vincent will go out from the mansion first time in long while, and gives him a gun and says I want you protect him well, and next day Nero tells Ganzo I can't believe only 2 days left for the opening, and Ganzo tells him Don Galacia confirmed he'll attend the opening, meaning he accepted we cooperate, and Tigray tells him this city is yours Nero, so he tells him still there are people loyal to Fango, and Corcio too, and Ganzo tells him you and Vincent will need best security to protect guests, and I'll handle that, and he asks about Barbiero. Tigre tells him he said he'll meet someone at the port, and Barbiero asks one working there about Corcio, and suddenly a call comes to Angelo telling him come fast we got info on Corcio, and Angelo goes to Nero, and first when he enters he asks found Corcio place, and Nero tells him no and Barbiero asks him you let Corcio escape right, and points gun at his face and tells him Corcio was at the port the day you went to Chicago, but suddenly Corcio enters, and before he went to them while leaving Angelo's house the landlady stops him and asks are you Angelo's friend, so he tells her yes. And she tells him better you stay away from him, he's not working yet has a lot of money then she leaves. And he remembers when Ganzo called him telling him return fast to save Angelo. And Barbiero grabs him and throws him on the chair, and asks him why tried to assassinate Nero, and Nero tells him I don't remember doing anything to make you hate me, so he tells them I wanted to save Angelo from you, and Barbiero asks him you did this with Angelo together, so he tells him no I did this myself, and he tells him Angelo was the one who helped you escape right, so he tells him no, and he tells him someone saw you at the port the day Angelo traveled Chicago. So he tells him I never went there, and Barbiero says enough lies you both want to kill Nero, so he tells him you do this because Angelo better than you and you fear he takes your place with Nero right, so he beats him hard and Nero tells him enough and takes out his gun and points at Corcio, but then lowers it and gives it to Angelo and tells him kill him yourself, and they all go out, and Angelo approaches Corcio and asks what brought you back, so he replies Ganzo told me you're in danger, and tells him even if he didn't call I'd do it anyway I'm going to die, and he tells him you can use the gun and end all this, and no one will bother you after. And he tells him I'm here for revenge and I still didn't do it, and Corcio tells him not even 3 months since you returned to the city, but I'm very happy I saw you again, and he angrily asks him why you came back again, and then kills him, and Barbiero asks Angelo was Galacia's reaction good when you gave them the drink, so he replies yes and they said they already forgot what Ronaldo did, and Nero says I remember a man named Striga attended the funeral, and Barbiero tells him that's Don Galacia's nephew and Ronaldo's cousin, and asks Angelo did you meet him in Chicago, but he doesn't answer and Nero asks him did you sleep well, and Barbiero says anyway we must stay cautious, and Tigre tells Gonza there's nothing to make us nervous right, and he replies calm down the family ruling Chicago, we don't want to do anything to upset them. And at same time Galacia family arrives, and Nero welcomes them and Don Galacia tells him you're surely Nero's son of Vincent. You look exactly like him, and tells him about what happened with Ronaldo don't worry about it let's forget the past and start again together, and he introduces him to Striga his nephew, and then Don Vincent enters and tells Don Galacia happy to see you, and Don Galacia shakes his hand and tells him you already handed Don title to Nero, and he replies yes I really let him handle all missions I'm tired and want to rest, and Nero asks them don't you want drink, and Don Galacia tells him isn't that the drink Angelo brought me, I'm sure it will spread fast in Chicago, and Vincent looks tired and Don Galacia leaves, and before leaving he offers Angelo to work with him in Chicago, and he replies I could never leave the city here, and Don tells him look to future Angelo this city is too small for you, and Gonza meets Angelo and tells him your condition became very bad, and asks him any change in tomorrow's plan, so he replies no. Their room is on second floor at end of hall, the door is bulletproof so you'll need to enter through door to kill Vincent, and it's the only door with no outside handle, and that door built so no one enters from outside without key, and he points to 2 sitting men, and tells him those 2 there will take out Turo standing at door and then you appear, and he replies I'll make Galacia escape first then kill Vincent and Nero, and he gives Gonza a paper to sign and tells him as long as your name here it means you're my enemy, and asks him you were there that day right, so he tells him you knew, so he replies yes and knew you didn't fire 1 shot that day, so he replies Vincent was partner with Galacia then and your father found out and that's why he killed him and your family, and killing Vincent and Nero must be by your hand. So he tells him don't rush me everything in its time and walks away. And Striga enters and tells Gonza you sure we can rely on him, so he replies yes sure, and asks him Don Galacia knows anything about this, so he replies no need he knows, to not ruin the plan, and Barbiero enters Nero and tells him I think better we remove Angelo from theater security team, and asks him why, so he replies I think he can't stand us since what happened with Corcio and especially you, but Nero tells him he cleared himself from any crime, why would he be upset with me, I'll give him something to live for, and Nero goes to check on his father and asks did you call the doctor, so he replies yes and said you'll be fine, but he tells him don't trick me I know I'm near death, and tells him long ago I killed my dearest friend and his family with my own hands. And if I hadn't killed Testa then the Galacia family would have ended ours, and through the past 7 years I tried convincing myself I was right, but when I think about it I ask if there was any other way to avoid what happened, and then I wouldn't have had to kill him. And Nero tells him Venetti family name is above anything, above friends and relatives and anyone, and Angelo returns home and imagines Corcio is there with him, and next day comes and Don Venetti arrives at the theater and everyone happy to see him again after last time 3 years ago. And after that Don Galacia arrives at the theater, and Vincent asks Gonzo what you think of the theater. I designed it like a theater in Milan. So he tells him and got an engineer from Italy to build it, you told me all that 50 times, and he tells him this theater was my dream. So he replies once we fix our status with Galacia there will be nothing to fear. And showtime comes and Angelo tells them I'll go check the place, and mayor of Lollis asks crowd to applaud Don Vincent, and Don Galacia is very impressed with the theater and tells Nero we don't even have one like this in Chicago. And at same time the two guards Gonza agreed with go to finish Turo, but they try to stab him and fail to kill him first strike, and Turo finishes them and Angelo comes to take him out. But he looks behind and sees Barbiera and Tigre present and they catch him. And Barbiera tells him you wanted revenge for Corcio, right? And comes close and stabs him in shoulder. So he tells him my friends now are finishing Nero. So he tells him don't change subject, and Tigre tells him but there were no Galacia guards traces there and this worries me, and Angelo tells him there's a letter in my pocket from man who summoned me to this city, and Barbiero reads it and asks who sent you that letter, who is dearest friend to Testa Lagusa, and hits him hard, and Tigre tells him I'll call Gonza and Nero, but Barbiero says don't call Nero. But Nero notices Gonza walking away from the party, and while walking tells Tigre I can't believe Angelo would do that, and Barbiero tells him I said don't call Nero, and Gonza tells him no you should call him. Nero is Don now, and he enters and asks Barbiero what happened, so he tells him he wanted to kill you and Nero and Vincent, and tells him whoever sent the letter is cause of what's happening, and asks where's Tigre, so he replies went to call Nero. So he gets mad and tells him why. So he replies Nero must decide what to do. So he gets angry and tells him no Nero won't kill him, he caused many deaths, and Barbiero pulls gun and points at Angelo to kill him. But at same moment Gonza pulls his gun and kills Barbiero, and Gonza tells him seems everything ended now, and Angelo tells him actually everything going fine for me, and Tigre informs Nero that Barbiero caught Angelo. But Gonza escapes Angelo before Nero arrives. And when Nero comes he tells him he escaped and gives him the letter and says clearly he wanted to kill me you and Vincent, and Tigre tells them he's probably going to finish Vincent we must send someone there, and Striga enters and tells them what's going on here, you know if Don gets harmed what I'll do to you, and Gonza tells Nero if I were him I'd go with rifle to kill him from other side. And Angelo goes to Don's room and tells him I was ordered to get you out fast. So he asks him where's Turo, so he replies don't know. So he tells him bring Nero first, but Don Galacia says no need to worry I know this man well, also he's your son's aide, and opens the door, and Angelo enters and points gun at Vincent and says to Lagusa this man killed my whole family, and Vincent asks him who are you, he says I am son of Testa Lagusa and returned to this city for this day, and this time I will take everything, but Angelo kills Lagusa. And at same time Striga kills Gonza after seeing what happened, and orders his men to finish Venetti family, and at same time Don Vincent dies. And Galacia's men take Angelo and lock him in a room in a hotel, and they bring him food but he refuses to eat, and at same time the door knocks and it's Nero entering beating the two guards and taking Angelo down. And on the other side there's war between Venetti family and Galacia family and they shoot at each other. And Tigre tells Nero Galacia's men won't stop causing trouble, and even if we hit them all, we won't have enough to kill them. And Nero before leaving tells him you also must leave before you die here. And Teshroto tells Nero impossible to escape Galacia family, and Angelo asks him what are you doing here, so he tells him what are you doing, and why still alive? Weren't you wanting revenge on Venetti family, and you did what you wanted right? And Corcio didn't want to join Mafia, and even when I told him you'll earn lots of money he refused. But you forced him to do this and even killed him, how can you live and he's dead? And Teshroto gets angry and hits him, and Nero tells him lower your voice a bit, and Nero pulls the letter and asks him who sent it to you, so he tells him Ganza sent me the letter. So he says that means he fooled us all, and son of Testa Lagusa got the letter and came back to the city, and after that Freight, Volpi, Turo, Barbiero, Fano, you killed them all, and I'm the only name in the letter still alive. Why didn't you kill me? So he tells him Vincent was hiding in the mansion and refused to leave, so that's why I had to get close to his eldest son. And he tells him and at the theater there was no reason to let me live, so he tells him I wanted you and Vincent to feel same pain I felt. Pain worse than death. But sadly Vincent died fast. And Nero gets angry and pulls his gun and points it at his head, but Teshroto tells him can't kill him here, so he hits him with the gun and says I'll save this for another time. And Tigre goes to escape the city by sea, but Galacia's men finish him. And on the other side Teshroto gets out of the car to buy them breakfast, and as soon as he enters the shop Nero takes the car and leaves, and he runs out shouting to wait, but Nero leaves, and Angelo remembers when he woke after the mansion incident and Striga asked him why did you kill Don Galacia, so he replies I used the chance that Venetti family killed my family. So he tells him and now he died because of them, means you used us all. So he asks him why did you save me, so he tells him because I wanted to thank you. I am Don now, and you sped up my plan, and Striga said Venetti family fled the island during the time he was sleeping, and Angelo tells him liquor ban will end soon and this city will have no value, why did you do all this? So he tells him Nero killed Ronaldo, but I think you'll be useful for me, as long as you have ambition, and if you kill someone there in Venetti family I'll give you full freedom. So he tells him I don't care about anything anymore, and we go back to Nero and Angelo sitting in a restaurant, and the man working there is surprised Angelo is tied by his hands, and Nero tells him I'm guarding a very dangerous prisoner, better not stare much. No one connected with him ends except dead, and Nero eats and then leaves, and Angelo tells him turn right, if you keep going you'll get back to the city. So he tells him and where will we go? So he replies we'll go to the sea. Have you seen it before? So he tells him no, and Nero asks him why didn't you leave the city and go? So he replies because I wanted revenge and to get my right. So he tells him, and are you satisfied now? So he replies, I thought after revenge and getting my family's right and killing those who killed them I would find a reason to live after. But now I have nothing to live for. All this was useless. And Nero gets angry and tells him, you're joking. Surely it's not that simple. And grabs him, throwing him at the tree, and tells him what was the gain from all this. Why kill them? And hits him and tells him, why didn't you kill me? I trusted you. So Angelo gets angry and tells him, then you should have killed me then. The night you wiped out my family 7 years ago, if you killed me then none of this would have happened. And next day they go again to restaurant to eat, and Angelo is hungry and Nero unties his hands, and then Nero and Angelo drive, and Angelo drives close to the tree to scare Nero, and they keep driving a lot, and stop every while in different places to rest, and finally arrive at the sea. And Nero tells Angelo, so you have no reason to live now, but you must live, and Angelo tells him, the reason I didn't kill you was I didn't want to kill you. But Nero pulls his gun and points to kill him and shoots him dead and goes back, takes the car and leaves.